Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. Sometimes the software unmutes me automatically, and sometimes I'm just sitting here in silence and I have to click it manually. So today was a manual click. Hello, my friends. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful week. I know that my family, we had a fantastic week this past week, just taking a little breather from the day to day, and it was fabulous, but we will talk about that later. But right now, we're going to be talking about beauty brands and how our landscape has changed over the past 5 years. We've seen, beauty brands be so popular that that's all anybody's talking about is these certain brands and their product releases. And there's, they have to set up the special things where, when they launch something, you know what time it's launching, and then you have to like wait in line. And there's like the little guy that walks across your screen as you wait for 20 minutes for a launch. We've seen all of those things happening with different brands. Oh, like IT apparently. No, what is happening? Okay. Anyway, we've seen all of those things happening with different brands, but I feel like the brands that are really crushing it right now are very, very different than they were, even 2 years ago. And I wanted to talk about that today. Which brands do we think are really crushing it? And which brands are just kind of like, what the heck is even happening? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So before we do that, I do want to say hello to the people that are here live in the collective brain of Makeup Awesomeness, where we help each other not to buy crap and we talk about beauty brands and brands that we're interested in and brands that have just completely fallen off. So let's go ahead and say hello to the people that were here first live. First in the house today, I think for the very first time, was my husband. Hello. Hello, my love. Hi, babe. He's waving from over there. Hello. He knew when I was going live and happened to come over. Ginger Janie is here. Hello, Yasu Cherry and Kimberly. Welcome back, everyone. Teresa M.O., one of our fabulous moderators, is here. Hope you're doing well as well. Tiffany is here and Anna is here. My girl Shirley, I'm sorry, Shirley, that's a different person. My girl Sheila is here. Reading is a little bit off apparently. Monica is here. Hello to you and Vicky and Jen Unboxed, all of some of my favorites that are here. They come every single week. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Flory is here, another one of our fabulous moderators. My girl Flory. Banshee Muse, haven't seen you in a bit. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. And Miranda, welcome, Miranda. Good to see you. And Christine and Tish. Oh my goodness, all these amazing people. Alexa and Megan and Jackie and Libby and Lisa from Sincerely LGS. Good morning to you. If I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, I have to show you my fabulous coffee mug that we saw when we were on vacation. We were walking by and John and I both stopped and we both just laughed when we saw this coffee mug. If you're listening and not watching, it says Tears of My Enemies, and it's got a little lipstick on it, but I just think that it is so funny and so cute. So absolutely delicious. Oh, it's so good. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about different beauty brands. And the first brand I thought of right away, of a brand that I feel like I didn't think was going to be doing as well as they are, but it's doing really well. And I don't know, if they had listened to me, they would be doing terrible. Let's just say that, because I didn't agree with the massive amount of launches and all that, but they're crushing it, man. It's ColourPop. I feel like ColourPop is doing so freaking well. At least they seem to be, because of course we don't know any of these brands' numbers. We don't know what they're actually doing in sales, but they seem to be absolutely crushing it. And I guess it was early 2021. There were a lot of lists coming out as like top brands, and ColourPop was up there as far as sales, not just in the US, but in other countries as well. So yeah, I'm not even sure where ColourPop ships to. I think they ship to Canada, pretty sure. Ooh, but I remember seeing it wasn't just the US, and I was very surprised by that. But yeah, I feel like if I were advising ColourPop, I would have told them, calm down on the launches a bit. It's just too much. It's the same colors over and over again. You're just pushing out same colors in different packaging, and it's annoying. Yeah, I don't think that was a good strategy. I think what they're doing is really working for them. Whether it's good for the environment or not, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother topic, because we all know that it's probably not. But one thing they do have to their advantage is that they do have their own lab, so they can create very small runs if they want to of certain products. So hopefully that helps to reduce some of the waste. But I really do feel like ColourPop is really doing well. And I think part of what sets ColourPop apart is that they are at a lower price point, but they are very high quality products for the most part. I don't know if you feel like you've tried ColourPop stuff that's just not good. I find that to be very rare. When I order from ColourPop, I tend to like what I order. I'm not the biggest fan of their cream formula that they launched with, the Super Shock shadows and the blushes, and I'm not as big of a fan of those, especially the shadows. They tend to crease on me. I don't really like the way that they apply. But yeah, I mean, I feel like other than that, like their press shadows are amazing. And I love their color stories. I love their artwork. I don't know who's doing their marketing and their artwork, but I feel like they're absolutely freaking crushing it. So I wanted to see what the community has to say. Yeah, Banshee Muse, ColourPop made in the USA, and I think that a lot of people are looking for that, and it's hard to get good quality products made in the USA at a lower price point. I mean, a lot of these really the lower price point products that are good quality, when I'm thinking of, Glamlight and Juvia's Place, those are made in the PRC, People's Republic of China. They're very good products. They're at a very good, well, Glamlight not so much at the best price point, but I think of Juvia's Place a lot. That they're such good quality at a lower price point, but they're not made in the U.S. And I know for some people that's very important to buy U.S. made products. Okay, so Rivka says ColourPop does ship internationally. Thank you so much for that. I would imagine they would. Yeah, Desi says they only get away with it because of reasonable prices. I think so too. And I think that, their ability to control the runs and to be able to make more if they need to, I think is really, really good thing. This is driving me nuts, the lipstick on here. Okay, let's see if I can at least make it a little less weird looking, because I keep switching hands and it says it on both sides in case you have a right-handed or left-handed. I love that for me. All right, Libby says, I got a ColourPop order yesterday. Granted, most of it was part of the 80% off sale, but I finally bought a couple things I've been putting off. Yeah. They really do make nice products. And I think that's really important in today's landscape, is to create that customer trust. That if you're going to buy something from ColourPop, chances are you're probably going to like it, because nobody likes to go through the return process. At least I don't think anybody. I'm sure there's somebody out there that likes to return things or doesn't mind. I hate returning things. I hate going to the store to return things. I hate mailing things back. Like, I don't want to do it. A lot of times I'll just keep things unless it's absolutely awful and I spent a lot of money on it. A lot of times I'll just give things away, or it'll just sit, unfortunately. So I think it's really important in today's landscape to create things that customers can trust. They can trust your brand. Yeah, Kimberly says, I still find ColourPop pretty exciting. They're very trendy, and that's what keeps them on top. And I agree, Kimberly, 100%. I think keeping on those trends. And also another thing is not being so trendy that it only works for Gen Z. I feel like some brands, like the marketing for like Florence by Mills, for example, is very Gen Z. I would never go in and into Ulta and see Florence by Mills and say, that's probably meant for me. And I know that probably some people in Gen Z may not go over to certain brands. I'm trying to think, like maybe like Clinique or something, and say, oh, that's made for me, except for maybe like the Cheek Pop blushes or something like that. But I feel like ColourPop does a good job of not limiting who can buy their stuff, if that makes sense. They don't do heavy marketing to a specific generation, which I think is really a key thing to do. Oh, okay. Desi says, I tried one of their eyeshadow palettes circa 2017 and hated it. Never tried one since, but maybe the quality's improved. Maybe try getting one of the smaller palettes and see how you feel about that. Yeah, they do have very nice glosses, Caitlin. I agree. All right. Oh, Indigo says, hello, Indigo Blue Beauty. I don't like ColourPop mascara or eyeliners. The liners bother my contact lenses. Love their palettes and Super Shock shadows. See, I think that a lot of this is customer preference. And even though we have like, I don't think I like their mascara, but I do like I don't like the marker eyeliner, but I like the brush tip eyeliner. I realized I had reviewed one of the marker eyeliners, and I already had a brush tip eyeliner from ColourPop. I just never tried the marker ones. But yeah, I mean, they don't bother my eyes at all, where you like the Super Shock shadows and I don't like the Super Shock shadows, but we both love their palettes. I think that there's something for everybody there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next brand, which I am very surprised I'm talking about that they're doing very well. They're kind of I don't know. I just feel like they kind of came out of nowhere and they're going a similar route as ColourPop in that the price point isn't huge, but they're putting out really good quality products, and that's HipDot. They got themselves into Ulta, which I think is a big deal. They're doing all of the branded stuff. Where I really got introduced to HipDot was I think that they put a palette in a BoxyCharm back when I was getting BoxyCharm. I'm not getting it anymore. I asked them to cut it off. It took them a little while to actually cut it off, but they did finally cut it off. So I just wasn't using the products, and it was just waste. And I wasn't reviewing it for the channel, and there wasn't enough in it that I was talking about. And I just didn't think it was worth adding the waste to my life. So anyway, I think that was the first time I tried a HipDot palette, and I enjoyed it, but it wouldn't have been something I would have purchased. Wouldn't have been something that called to me that made me go, oh yeah, I really want that palette. But then when they came out with the Reese's collection, I'm going to try to say Reese's and not Reese's. I'm fighting against my Reese's mentality. I tried the Reese's collection that I purchased. I bought both palettes. I got 2 lipsticks, and I loved everything, especially the white palette. I didn't like the orange palette quite as much, but the white palette was fabulous. And I also really loved the lipsticks. I was a little disappointed that the scent in the lipsticks wasn't a little bit stronger because I'm very much a scented makeup kind of person. But I felt like the quality was excellent. And I love that they're doing all these collaborations with different, bands and companies that really resonate with people, similar to ColourPop and all of their collaborations that they do. And they really are putting out good quality stuff. I haven't tried a lot from them, but the stuff that I have tried from them, I've very much enjoyed. So I think that they're going to be a brand to watch coming up in the next, couple of years or so. Yeah, Jen says, HipDot's done weird collabs that keeps people interested, but because of the constant guessing of what's next. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they've definitely, people with the My Chemical Romance launch were not happy with that first one, that it really did turn some people off, in that a lot of people that wanted it were unable to get it. But yeah, I was just reading the next comment. But yeah, the constant guessing of what's next, I think, is fun. I think it's fun to see because you don't know. You don't know if it's going to be SpongeBob or My Chemical Romance or Reese's or whatever. They're all over the place, and it is fun to watch. And they're also easily accessible in that you can get it on their website, or you can get it at Ulta. At least for people that have Ulta, it's accessible. I guess it's not easily accessible for everybody, but for people in the US, it's pretty easily accessible. And and it goes like, Jen and Peeps always cracks me up when you use my old name. I just, I do like it. I like the old name. I like the new name too, but yeah, I like both. So yeah. Michelle says the same thing. HipDot's mishandling of the first My Chemical Romance launch turned me off to them. Yeah, totally. And Mari says that they have a couple from HipDot and they like them. All right. Rock and Roll Brit says the only thing I've seen about HipDot is that they have really interesting collaborations, i.e. the SpongeBob and My Chemical Romance collab. Yeah. And I think that what's doing really well for them is that they also are producing good quality product. And I think that's more important than ever right now because the market is so incredibly oversaturated. It's been oversaturated. It continues to become more saturated. And you really have to stand out. And one of those things that brands are standing out is customer loyalty. All right. Speaking of customer loyalty, let's talk about Pat McGrath. Oh my gosh. I don't think Pat McGrath is going anywhere anytime soon. The price point is a completely different price point, of course. We're talking, way more high end, but I feel like there is a brand trust there. There is a brand loyalty there in that people tend to be really happy with their Pat McGrath products that they purchase. I don't think I've ever purchased anything that I wasn't happy with, except for I think their original launch way back when they first started launching products. There was something I didn't like. I think it was their lip gloss. They had like a lip gloss in a tube and it was just a little too thick for me, but it wasn't a bad product. It was just really thick. It was very makeup artsy. It was very, good for photos, just a super thick, wet gloss, which makes sense for Pat McGrath. It just wasn't to my preference. So it wasn't that it was bad, but I really do feel like, like their shadows, yes, they're very, very expensive. I know that some people will never spend that much on eyeshadow. And I honestly don't think that if you, it's powder. When it comes down to it, it's powder. Do you really need to spend that much? No. Could you probably find similar shades at a lower price point? Probably. But the quality really is very good. And they do come out with some very unique and interesting shades. The new palette looks amazing. When I first saw it, I thought it looked a lot like the Divine Rose 2 palette. And I was like, it looks almost the same. But then I saw the swatches and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Kinky Sweat did a review on it recently with some looks and just, are you kidding me? Just, woo, incredible, incredible. All right. Megan says, I honestly don't like Pat McGrath. I think it's way too expensive for what it is. I mean, I think that you have to, it's just a different consumer base, I think, than like ColourPop and HipDot. I think it's just a different consumer, but I think that there are people that will buy Pat McGrath that won't buy ColourPop and HipDot. It's just, they're reaching for a different audience, I think. Yeah. Hi, Mel. Mel says Pat McGrath's way outside my price range. Beautiful products, but I'm a teacher. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And like I said, is it really that much better than ColourPop and HipDot? I mean, it's different, but is it better? I think that has to do with personal preference. But I do think that Pat McGrath is doing a lot right in that I love that they're reaching into the duochromes and multichrome eyeshadows. I think that's really, really smart because right now it seems like there haven't been a lot of major brands jumping on the duochromes and multichromes. I was waiting for Too Faced to do it. We'll talk about Too Faced in a minute. I was waiting for Too Faced to do it, and they haven't really gotten there that I've seen, which surprises me because you'd think that that would be something that they would really get on board with, but I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. Banshee Muse says, I like Pat McGrath, but really only like the matte shades. Only the special shades are beautiful. The regular shimmers are just all right. I want all matte in a palette from her. Oh, you know what? I remembered one thing that I don't like from Pat McGrath is the matte lipsticks. I didn't like those. I like the creamier lipsticks, but I didn't like the matte ones. They were too dry. I did not like those. Yeah. Dion says, I have 5 motherships working on a collection. I love everything Pat McGrath Labs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that it's one of those things where, and we're going to talk about ABH next, is I feel like Pat McGrath is doing it right in that they're not over-releasing their mothership palettes, where I feel like ABH really over-released their standardized palettes. I feel like Pat McGrath is releasing them at a reasonable point so that people like Dion can reasonably collect them. When you're releasing 1 a month, 2 in a month, you can't expect people to collect that. You have to space it out a bit. And I think that's really, really smart for customers like Dion who are collecting them. Interesting. Megan says, I spend so much on makeup. All I buy is high-end makeup and I just don't like Pat McGrath. Yeah, everyone has preferences. Absolutely. Yeah, Cindy says Sydney Grace is excellent at a great price point. I haven't bought anything from Sydney Grace. No, that's not true. I got the Temptalia palettes in the in PR they're going to be in favorites and fails countdown this month. I'm ready to talk about them. But I haven't purchased anything from Sydney Grace in a while, and I want to purchase more from them. They really are a great brand. Lisa says, I've bought 2 or 3 Pat McGrath palettes and I end up selling them because I just don't like the formula. Interesting. Very interesting. Giselle says, I've never tried Pat, never will. Okay. I mean, okay. I think that it's just, it's personal preference. Everyone's got their own things. I personally think that they're doing great stuff over there, and I'm excited about their launches. All right, let's talk about ABH. Okay, so ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills, they've been like on top for so long. I feel like they rose from being this independent brow product brand to like influencer celebrity stardom. And then they really seem to be changing their marketing, changing their release schedule. And people were like, what the heck is this? This doesn't go with who you are. This isn't what we expect from ABH. Like what is even happening? I think people got confused and abandoned the brand. But I don't think everybody did. I think there are still a lot of people that are very much into Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I feel like they did slow down on the releases. I think they listened there. And I think that one thing to ABH's credit, I will say, is I think Norvina is an extremely intelligent person. And I think that she is very good at following the trends. I think that she is on top of things. I think she knows how to navigate the space. You know, they just came out with the blush and contour sticks. I haven't seen any reviews of them, but the shade range looked really good. Blush, the cream products are very on trend right now. I think that's very smart. They went with the laminated brows, which I think was very, very smart. I do think they gear a little bit younger toward their marketing. You know, millennials and Gen Z. I don't think they necessarily reach for Gen X and Boomers as much, but I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. I don't feel like they exclude older people. Me being, by the way, I'm Gen X. I'm on the cusp. I'm a millennial Gen X cusp, but I'm technically Gen X. I don't think they exclude Gen X and Boomers, but I do think that they kind of trend that way. And I think part of that is because Norvina is a millennial, and I feel like it's, that's what she knows. And I think she does a great job. She does a fantastic job. And I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. I'm waiting for their next palette to come out. They haven't put out a palette in a minute. Their was it 12 pan palettes? It's 12 pans? Now I got to get one. I forget if it's 10 or 12 because I have them right here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. The 14 shades. I don't think Sultry is available anymore, but these palettes. I feel like the Norvina range is a little odd. I haven't purchased anything from the Norvina range. I feel like I've heard mixed reviews of the stuff from the Norvina range. I do remember that the shadows are PRC made, so that they're different formula. You get more shadows, but they're the same price, right? Or something, but it's different. It's different. So yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for ABH to do good things. We'll have to see. Sarushan says I'm a geriatric millennial. That's so funny. Yeah, I think my husband's a geriatric millennial. Sussex Sandra says, what age range is Gen X, millennials, boomers? I get confused. Gen X, I'm at the end. So I think it's like born in like 1980, like 80, 79. I was born in 78. So like 79, 80. And then it is when Gen X ends. And then millennials is up until I think like people in their teens, maybe late 20s. I could Google it, but yeah, I mean, I think of like kids now. My kids are Gen Z, so the millennials are the people in between. I think it's people like in their 20s and 30s, basically. But I'm not sure the exact year. Oh, what did Jen say? Jen Gerard is here. What's up, Jen Gerard? Jen says, I feel like ABH was running their brand to please investors and it turned some people off. Yeah, totally. Because I think that ABH, I'll leave that up for a second. I think ABH was really kind of the people's brand, like where people were really related to Norvina and the marketing, and they have these beautiful ad campaigns. And, and I think that it started turning a little too businessy for people, where people went from, seeing influencers at their Halloween party and, that it was kind of like our brand kind of thing, to that it was more of a businessy brand instead of a people brand. I don't know. But Jen, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yeah, Gen X is late 60s to early 80s. Thank you so much for that. And Nicole says, I'm at the millennial Gen Z cusp at 1994. I think the last year for millennial is 1996. Yeah, it's funny. Like I have this thing. Okay. In my Hiram video, I called Hiram a kid. And people were not happy about me calling Hiram a kid because he's obviously not a kid. But this is my logic. And you can tell me whether you agree with this logic or not. This is totally off topic. But I feel like if you were born, okay, whatever age you are, think about what year you graduated high school. Anybody born in the year you graduated high school to present is a kid to you. So if you graduated high school in 1975, you would be perfectly okay to call me a kid. I don't know. I just feel like if I could have babysat you, you're a kid. In a way, not a literal kid, but like, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's just kind of a fun way to think about things. It's not seriously taken, not trying to look down on anybody or, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like we're from different generations and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different, but that's my logic. Yeah, Cindy says, can we have a Sunday of talking about perfumes, good and bad? I love makeup, but I also love to smell good. I feel like perfumes are so hard to talk about because I can't have you smell them through the screen. Like if we were like sitting here together, we could talk about perfumes for hours. I have so many freaking perfumes because I've been a Scentbird subscriber since like 2017. So like I have so many perfumes. I have done sponsored content for them, but way after I became a subscriber. So I love perfumes, but I feel like they're so hard to talk about. So I don't know if there'll be a full, hour-long chat because I just feel like it's hard to talk about. Yeah, exactly, Lana. Anybody who's old enough to be my child is a kid. And one of my best friends in high school got pregnant in May of our senior year. So yeah, so anybody, 1996 babies, you're a kid. In a loving way, not a belittling way, in a loving way. Kids these days. Yeah, Allison, exactly. Jen is young enough to be my child. So if you want to call me a kid, it's totally fine with me. Yeah, Josephine, that too. Perfumes are really personal. I totally agree. Totally agree. And I think the way they smell on people is different, So I think that makes a difference. All right, I have one more brand I want to talk about before the break. And then we're going to talk about brands that, like, I want to know what you think about. Do you think there's a future for the brands or not? Because some of them I feel like are kind of falling off. And I want to talk about that, but we'll do that after the breaks. But the last brand I want to talk about that I feel like is really crushing it right now is Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty, I think one of their biggest strengths is that they are a worldwide brand and have been for a long time. They're extremely popular all over the world. Their marketing, their packaging, their quality, overall. I've definitely tried some things from Huda Beauty that I didn't enjoy. I think I got it in a BoxyCharm. It was like a dual-ended eyeliner thing that I did not like. I think there was like a liquid shadow or something that I didn't like. But I know that they are very, very popular. And I look at their stuff all the time and be like, wow, that is beautiful. I haven't tried a whole lot. So that's why I'm kind of going to be, relying on you all to help me with Huda as far as the quality of it, because I don't know a whole lot, but I will say that from what I've seen, they are absolutely crushing it. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says, we can also talk about candles. Do you still have the fundraiser? Yes. Candles. I love candles. I think I talked about this in a video recently. I love to buy candles, but I burn them way slower than I want to buy them. I want to buy them all the time. And Candles by Victoria has come out with some new stuff recently that looks amazing. That's the brand that I did the partnership with, designing a couple of candles with Victoria. I guess it was a few years ago. And I do believe they are still for sale. And I do have the link down at the end of all of my video descriptions. And I am still donating. I'm just donating a lot slower because I like to give them like $500 at a time. I don't like to give them like $50 here and there. So I do have to talk to Victoria about, because she doesn't pay out every single month. We wait until there's a good chunk, and then she sends it over, and then I write the check to the school. So, so 10% of the purchase, when you use the link that's in my video descriptions, does go to Baltimore Highlands Elementary School, which was the first school I taught at. It's in a low-income neighborhood here in Maryland, and they're fabulous. It's such a wonderful community over there. There are people that have lived in that community for generations, but it is a low-income neighborhood, and they do need help with like supplies and things. And like they'll buy coats for kids in the wintertime. They'll buy backpacks. They'll buy, all kinds of things. I know they've been part of like food programs and stuff. I don't know if the candle money is gone toward food programs. But I do know that they will buy materials for like special education students or students with behavior issues, behavior difficulties, things like that, support for teachers and materials and things like that with the money. And then 5% goes to supporting the channel. So when I get the check, I just divvy it up, and 10% goes to them. So yeah, that's still going on. Long story short, way too late. It's still going on. I don't see it ending anytime soon at any point. I mean, it's an amazing company. And if you're looking for some really good fall candles, jump in now because she's about to get hit in September with fall candle orders. And they have some of the best. Oh My Pumpkin Pecan Waffles is the best candle scent I've ever smelled in my entire life. Candles by Victoria. All right, let's go back to Huda Beauty. Sorry. I went off for a minute. I just love that company so much. Okay. Where is it? I'm trying to find somebody that's talking about Huda. La, 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 la. All right, Miranda. Hi, Miranda. Miranda says, I've been collecting Huda palettes, but feel like she's realizing the obsession palette, releasing this obsession palettes too frequently. Gotcha. Thank you for that. Christy says, Huda's knocking it out of the park. Across the board, they have it spot on right now. Glowish will be in my collection until it's no longer available. Nice. Nice, nice. Mary says, I just feel like Huda's gotten boring. Okay, cool. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, I would love to know more about that. Lorraine says, Huda Beauty, not a fan of the eyeshadows. Lots of fallout for me. Great to know. Thank you, Lorraine. Banshee Muse, I really like Huda Beauty. The eyeshadow and the powders are great. And Tiffany says, Huda Beauty has no appeal to me. Interesting. Yeah. Jeannie says, for those of us who were little kids in the 60s and 70s, 2000 sounded like it would be the Jetsons. So wasn't the Jetsons supposed to take place in 1999? I heard that somewhere. I don't know if that's real or not. All right. We are... I don't know if we got to a consensus about Huda Beauty, but it seems to be very varied. Like Jennifer's saying here, Huda Beauty shadows aren't consistent. So, yeah, interesting. Oh my gosh, Indigo, I bought a Forever Mood candle for $4.11. I own one Forever Mood candle, and I still have that thing. I bought it at launch, and I still have some. And it burns so slowly, and it smells so good. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about what's in my face, and then we'll go into brands that I'm not so sure about. Let's talk about it. So, on my eyes today, I finally got it. I'm so excited. Lethal is Dead, Teresa is Dead's palette. I purchased this after the first launch sold out. I pre-ordered it, so it took a while for me to get it. But yes, and I forgot to look. I meant to look before I came on here. But this print right here, is this a Lethal print? Because I have to ask, I think it is like their logo or something. Tell me if I'm wrong, because it looks like a chicken. You know how Teresa talks about her skin being like an uncooked chicken? Like it kind of, I wish I could show you a little closer. I'm not sure if you can see, but it kind of looks like a chicken, or a turkey, like this. A little bit. And I would love that if that was purposely made like that. I have a feeling it wasn't, but I have to know. So on my eyes today, I have Spellbound and Straight to VHS on my lid. And then on my lower lash line, I have Predator. I supplemented it a little bit because I wanted to put some natural shades. So that was purchased. This is PR, even though Teresa is a friend of mine. So yeah, so well, I wouldn't say I'm biased. Well, maybe. I love Teresa. She's incredible. But I supplemented with this. This was Scent and PR. This is the Essentials palette, which is the Stephanie Lang collab with Sigma. And I used this shade here and this shade here. Oh, and a little bit of this white on my lower lash line to just kind of make it so that I didn't use all just colors. I wanted to use some more natural shades as well. So yeah, so that's what's on my eyes today. And then on my lips, I have, this is about to die. The texture is starting to change and I'm going to have to throw it away, which makes me really sad. This is Noisette by Jouer. This is probably way older than I should have it. I got this a really long time ago. You know what? I'm going to part with it because it really is old. It smells bad, but the texture is thickening. And I'm crying in my soul because I love that freaking lipstick. I might buy another one just because, but I don't need it. I just really like it. And then I topped it. That was, I believe, purchased, but it was so long ago. It could have been PR. This was PR. This is what I topped it with. This is the new Saved by the Bell Wet n Wild lip gloss. And this is the Jessie Spano one. The set is here. I didn't use the lip liner because this was kind of an afterthought. But yeah, so it's this. I didn't try the lip liner. This is so minty, like really, really minty. Like I can still feel, I put this on like an hour ago and my lips still are like cold. It's very, very minty. So if you like that, let me show you what it looks like on its own because I do have it topped today. So show you kind of a swatch. It is kind of a thicker gloss and it's a little bit, it's sticky. It's definitely sticky, but it's not like stick your lips together sticky, but it is wind blowing, your hair is going to get stuck and it's sticky. So there is some pigmentation. Let me blend it out a bit. And you can see there is still pigmentation even when I blend it out. So there's that. And that kind of brought a little bit of pink to the Noisette. Let's see, let me wipe this off because that is really sticky on my hand. All right, next, I wanted to talk about this. This is the Lauren Conrad, the eyeliner. I believe I got this from Ipsy. So this was PR. I'm really enjoying this liquid eyeliner. Is it 10 times better than any other brush tip liquid liner? No, but it's working great. Been very much enjoying that. And then for my highlight today, also set in PR. Gerard Cosmetics Sophia. I'm going to swatch that for you real quick. It is a very nice, very buttery, not super from space glow. Where is it? It's right. Where did it go? It's right there. It's a more subtle highlight, which is more on trend than right now than the very poppy highlights. But it gives just like a nice, pretty, subtle glow. And it's very, very nice. It's beautiful. So thank you, Jen, for sending that over. And then blush. This is also PR. This is the Milani Supercharged Lip and Cheek Multi-Stick in the shade Spice Jolt. And it looks like this. So there you go. It smells like vanilla. It smells amazing. All right, let's talk about some more brands. Actually, let's see what you all are saying, and then we'll talk about some more brands. Oh, yay. Jody says, thank goodness for the moderators keeping the chat nice and PG. I love that. Thank you, moderators. They're volunteers. They're amazing. Thank you so much. Some of them have been with me for literal years. Well, I think all of them have been with me for years. So thank you so much. Let's see. Yeah, Jennifer says my favorite nude palettes from Laura Lee. Her palettes are so good. They really are. They really, really are. Jessie is so excited. I can't get that out of my head. Yeah, that really like messed me up. The episode where she was taking drugs. And then she's like freaking out and then she starts crying. That episode messed me up. I was not prepared. Was not prepared. You know, Jeannie, I don't know if the Lethal is Dead palette is still available. I think it might be. All right, let's talk about the next brand. What do we think about Too Faced? I feel like there's definitely going to be a market for Too Faced for a very long time. And I think it's going to be the people that aren't necessarily into beauty YouTube or Instagram, maybe Instagram, but maybe not into beauty YouTube, that go into a Sephora or wherever Too Faced is sold for them and just look and see the packaging and just buy it because of the packaging. I think where Too Faced is failing is that their quality is extremely inconsistent. And I think people have lost trust in the brand. And they've really been focusing more on the packaging than the quality of the product inside. And you are spending a lot of money for Too Faced. I feel like the price point is high. So you really have to trust that what you're getting is going to be good or have the opportunity to return. That's my opinion. And Jeannie says, do we think about Too Faced? I do. Oh, hold on a minute. I meant to hit Michelle. Michelle says Too Faced is boring, boring and quality is trash. I don't know if I feel like their quality is they're boring. Well, I guess they're kind of repetitive. It's weird. This was the one I wanted to click on here. Lethal Palette is still available on pre-order. Thank you so much. Yasu Cherry loves Too Faced. I would love to know your favorite products from Too Faced. Okay, Sam says, I like Too Faced complexion products, setting sprays, and bronzers, but I don't like their eye products. The mascara to me is way overhyped, and it doesn't get along with me at all. I agree that the mascara is way overhyped for me. I find it to be very clumpy, very difficult to work with. I don't enjoy it. Jennifer says Gerard Cosmetics has the best eyeshadow base. I agree. I love the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas. It is fabulous. You just have to really be careful how much you use because it is extremely potent. You will use that pot until it goes. There's no way you're going to use it up. It's just not possible. You need the teeniest amount. And it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. Jody says, Too Faced will be popular again in a few years with new teens coming online and not looking too much in the history of the brand. Totally agree. Totally agree. And they have made some major missteps. Major missteps. Trying to find some different faces. Yeah. M says, I think I saw everything from Too Faced, like every time it's the same. I agree. I feel like, they keep coming out with the cutesy stuff, but it's like nothing that feels that different. You know what I mean? Like nothing feels that special anymore. I don't know. Maybe we're desensitized to the cute factor. And I think also the mix of like teddy bears and sex is weird for me. Never thought I would say that sentence out loud. But you know what I mean? Like they do like teddy bear stuff and cute little doggy stuff and things with bows and all of that. And then they do like glow job, and it's like, where are we going here? Like, what is happening? I don't know. It's a little odd. It's a little odd. Pam says, I love to hate Too Faced, LOL, but still do love some of their staple products. I usually wait for reviews for their new stuff. Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's very smart. Another brand that I'm wondering what you all think about is Natasha Denona, where I feel like Natasha Denona was in their prime in probably 2017, 2018, where it was kind of the coveted brand, that this is, it was very expensive, very out of reach for a lot of people. And then people started buying like the mini palettes and things like that. And they're just kind of like, I'm glad I didn't buy the $250 palette. I do think that Natasha Denona has a fan base where there are people that love Natasha Denona, but I feel like some people, when they do get around to ordering from it, end up being kind of let down by the hype. I don't know though. What do you think? Yeah, Kaylee back talking about Too Faced. Yes. What is their aesthetic? Like, who is this for? Exactly. Monica, no WhatsApp and makeup today. I decided to take the week off. We were very busy when we were away and decided to just take a couple days to decompress. So Jen says, Natasha Denona does not impress me. Beth says, I love Natasha Denona products. Kaylee, I feel like Natasha Denona is something I'm supposed to have rather than something I actually care to own. Very interesting perspective, Kaylee. Janice loves Natasha Denona. Yeah, Alex, this is interesting. I feel like Glossier is being shoved in my face every day. I feel like that's a trendy brand. I don't own a lot by Glossier. I feel like I probably should try more, by Glossier, but I'm trying to like cut back on my purchases. So 6 says, I still love Natasha. I love that she started making it more affordable. I haven't had an issue with inconsistencies. Nice. Thank you so much for that. Christy says, I still love the Natasha Denona mini and midi palettes. Quality is consistent, but that's where my love for the brand ends. Gotcha. And I do really like my Natasha Denona shadows. I just feel like they're just really expensive for what they are. I feel like it's different than Pat McGrath because I feel like with Pat McGrath, you're getting a different type of formula. I feel like it's a softer, lighter formula where I feel like Natasha Denona is more typical as far as the formula goes. I don't know. Am I off there? I feel like I don't know. That's just my subjective opinion. Yeah, Megan, everything I've tried from Natasha Denona has been subpar. Alyssa, Natasha Denona is way overpriced and overhyped. I'm kind of thinking that too. Yeah, Katie, it's nothing special. Sydney Grace does just as great of a job. I love Sydney Grace. All right, let's talk about, okay. I'm going to skip down. Let's talk about Urban Decay because, you know, Urban Decay was the thing when I started YouTube in 2012. 2012, 2013, Urban Decay was the brand. The brand. And I feel like a lot of that, honestly, was Leisha from X Sparkage, who was getting all of the product releases early and creating these beautiful, incredible looks. I feel like she really helped to build that brand's presence on YouTube. Hold on a second. I haven't had coffee in a while. It is really good. I actually mixed a couple of different flavors. It's like a milk chocolate, a white chocolate, and a dark chocolate hazelnut mixed together. It's so freaking good. But yeah, I feel like that was part of it is they were really hyped on YouTube for me at least. Just starting off in the YouTube space, like my first more expensive palettes were a Vice palette. Like I got, you know, a couple of Vice palettes, the Naked 2 palette, one of the ones that was in the boxes. What were those things called? They were like chunky boxes. And I think I got like the 4th one was my first one, but they were like edgy and different and unique. And I feel like they're kind of falling off, and they have been for years. And there's nothing that really makes them stand out as a brand. I feel like they were doing really well in the setting spray arena, and then I feel like they kind of got buried by all these other brands that make setting sprays. So, you know, I don't know. And do you think Urban Decay can come back? Do you think that there's a chance for them to be interesting? I don't know. Oh, Mama Goonie, OMG, I miss, oh, hi, Mama Goonie. I miss the Urban Decay nail polishes. I wish they would bring those back. There was a shade Pigeon I would love to repurchase. They failed me with the Prince launch, yeah. Sandra, Urban Decay, all-nighter setting spray and the skin foundation. Total failure was that velvetizer powder thing. Yeah, that was weird. That was super weird. Where they changed, like it was something weird with the packaging. You'll have to remind me. But I think they would like reuse the packaging or something, and like people were like confused. But then they said they were just recycling the packaging so that they could have less waste. Ah, sausage just Nutella coffee. That sounds delicious. Yasu Cherry says, I really liked Urban Decay's colorful palettes, but apart from their heavy metal glitter liner, I haven't bought anything from them in a long time. Yeah, forgot about the heavy metal glitter liners. Forgot about those. Those were good. Allison says, I work at Sephora, and even though Urban Decay declined online, in store to the everyday consumer, they are still pretty popular, maybe due to their reputation, probably. Yeah, and I think that their branding is still really good. I love the colors. I love the font. I love the packaging. I think their branding is very attractive to some people. It's very attractive to me. Yeah, Broken Wench says, it seems to me the Urban Decay changed from what they used to be totally. Sam, I've never tried Urban Decay. Naked palettes were huge and marketed to my generation, but I just didn't get it. Stephanie, the Wild Wild West palette, that I thought looked really good, was also so nice. The color scheme, I agree. It was pretty. I didn't get it, but it was really pretty. They got popular with the glitter liners, Midnight Cowboy, and what was that? Was it called that one shade? I had the Midnight Cowboy, the glitter like pot one, and it was like a real sheer wash of glitter, and they confused me at the time. Like I kind of get them now, now that they're more popular, the wash of glitter. But at the time I was very confused by those. Oh, totally. Felicia says Urban Decay needs to hire Doodles the Bunny for design concepts. I would buy every dang palette. Somebody needs to hire Doodles the Bunny. If you are not familiar with Doodles the Bunny on Instagram, oh my gosh. The design skill of that person just blows me away. It is such a fun account to follow. I do feel bad for brands that like, it's like, how do you see that and then not make it? You know what I mean? Like they should just hire her. Like I wonder what her deal is. I wonder if she has brands reaching out to her like that, because if I was a makeup brand owner, I would be reaching out to her 100%. 100%. Yeah, Claire says Urban Decay was YouTube's darling. I feel like they targeted demographic is not makeup fans anymore. So beauty YouTubers mock them for the naked palette, but the regular consumer, are they still trendy? I think that you have a point there. That they really were a YouTube darling, and then now it's like it's not as special to us anymore. I think because we are constantly seeing things that look similar, and they just don't stand out anymore. Michelle, I heard great things about the Born to Run palette too. I didn't get that one, but I heard good things. Leslie, yes, I got my first real pigmented black eyeshadow from Urban Decay during my baby bat days. Nice, nice. Miss Melissa, Urban Decay is great eye primer for older pilly lids. Eden works great. Setting spray I combine all-nighter and Huda spray. Yes, they do have some really good staple products that have been good for years. Absolutely. All right, next one. Let's see. I wanted to talk about Morphe. And where do we think Morphe's headed? Because I'm dropping it in there. Do you think Morphe's dying? I don't think so. I think that they have a strong Gen Z audience. And I think as long as they continue to cultivate the Gen Z audience, I think they're going to be fine. I think they have lost the millennials. I think they were a millennial brand for a very long time. I don't know if they've ever really been a good targeted Gen X brand, kind of like how ABH isn't really a Gen X boomers brand. I feel like Morphe was never really a Gen X boomers brand, but I think they've kind of lost the millennials. A lot of them anyway. And I feel like they're really pushing the Gen Z, and I think that's very smart of them. Sam says, Morphe? Sam has left the chat. Sorry, Sam. Just for a minute. It's like, no, everybody's so mad at me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't hate me. I was just so curious. That's what you all think. I love this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys are so funny. I'm just clicking on all of them. All of the no's. All of the no's. And I think what also buried Morphe, I think what carried Morphe for the longest time was the influencers they partnered with. And the influencers have now fallen out of grace for a lot of people. So I think that with that's the problem with having influencer driven brands. Yes, you can make a ridiculous amount of money, but if something that is a human being, you can't base an entire brand based on a human being. You just can't, because you run that risk, because human beings are flawed. Human beings are not perfect. Human beings make mistakes. Human beings sometimes end up being awful people. Like they may be great at marketing. They may be great at people finding them interesting or relatable or whatever, but they're human, and not all humans are good people, and not all humans, and nobody's perfect. So that's part of the problem with the way that Morphe built themselves. And now they have no leg to stand on because their quality's not good. So it's like, if you lose the big push from Morphe was their influencers, because it wasn't the quality. It was never the quality. The quality was mediocre at best. And I think that they're now suffering from that. And I think it's really smart to push Gen Z, because I think that, older people know better. And there's so much better stuff out there. Sam says, JK Jen, the only Morphe item I purchased was for my 10-year-old niece. She wants the James Charles palette before the scandal, so I got it for her to play with rather than Claire's makeup, which is probably smart. I mean, what I recommend all the time for people that are looking for, I mean, Morphe is, I mean, it may be a good option. I feel like Morphe is very pigmented, so it may be difficult to like wash off and things like that. I always recommended Essence for younger kids to play with because it is such a high quality brand, and their stuff didn't tend to be super pigmented. They've changed their eyeshadow formula now, and now it is freaking amazing. They do send me PR. I'm just gonna be full disclosure, but I've talked about their poor quality eyeshadow palettes in the past, and now the formula's changed and it's so good. Like those Disney palettes that they came out with, I don't know what the heck happened, but the formula, it was like so good, so good. But Essence is a good option too. It's very cute, very cute packaging for younger people as well. Christina says Morphe, LOLs in real life. I love that. Yep, T said it best. Never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not familiar with T from Nappy Headed Jojoba, highly recommends. Quality content. Jennifer says Morphe's the cockroach of the makeup world. LOL. Totally. Totally. I mean, I think they'll never die. They'll never die. Ever. So, yeah. Nina says either I'm really old or I've never heard of Morphe or it's not sold in Scotland. I think that if you're not entrenched in the YouTuber space, you've probably never heard of them. They really, really have pushed influencer marketing for a very long time. Karen, proud to never have owned anything Morphe. Hey, being bio girl, I actually would love the Cherry Coke collection. I think that was really smart to start partnering with brands like Cherry Coke. Do you know if it smells like Cherry Coke? It looked like a Too Faced palette though. Did you see like the way that the pans are? It looks like a Too Faced or a Makeup Revolution palette. All right, so there are a couple more brands I wanted to talk about, but we're running out of time and it makes me really sad because I've got a huge list of brands I wanted to talk about. I wanted, let's end off with KVD Beauty because I feel like they've gone through so many transitions, right? So we started with Kat Von D and very, very popular. I bought tons of Kat Von D palettes, really loved the quality, really loved the branding, the marketing. My husband's a tattoo artist, loved it. Then became privy to information about Kat Von D that I was not a fan of, decided to stop purchasing from the brand. And then Kat Von D left the brand. They rebranded it as KVD Vegan Beauty Doing Good something. And then now they've rebranded again. And yeah, they came out with that Good Apple foundation that really blew up all over TikTok. And then customers started buying it and they were like, what the hell is this? Like it was like cake face for people. So I'm really confused about what's happening with them. Like, I'm kind of with you. I want to say your name, but I don't want to say it wrong. Inuki Meko, how did I do? I hope I did okay. I'm kind of with you. I have hope for KVD Beauty. I hope they do well. I love the idea of doing the recyclable packaging. I think that's very smart. I think there's definitely a market for that. I don't know. I feel like I wish that they had their artists do more, like not being like influencery about it, but I wish that they had because they have all these different artists that are involved in the brand. I wish that they had their artists do more as far as promoting the products and demoing the products. I wish they had more advertising other than on TikTok. Because like TikTok right now, there really is no way to brand your content that I know of and say that it's sponsored, except for doing like a hashtag. So there are a lot of people doing undisclosed sponsorships over there. And that's the way it feels, is that it's undisclosed sponsorships for them. And it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I honestly, like, I hope that things turn around for them, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Not really sure. Josephine, I feel like KVD gets pissed when people extend the KVD vegan beauty something something every time I heard something new. Yeah. And I think that it's annoying to see them for the rebranding so many times, but I feel like they've kind of hit on their final rebrand. I mean, we'll have to see, but hopefully this is the end of the rebranding. Beth says their products intrigue me, but until KVD is wiped from the name, I just can't. It's just sitting wrong with you. Is that what's happening? It's just sitting wrong. Holly says, I don't know what KVD is anymore. The Apple stuff confused me. Yeah, and I think that finding that hero product, I think is going to be really important for them. I think the Good Apple Foundation could have been it, but then the fact that consumers were getting it and hating it is like, I think they lost it there. I think they lost it there, and it's really sad for me because I really believed it when I saw the TikTok influencers all really loving it, and then it was like, wait, what? What? Really? It really isn't good? Like, because there were people that were promoting it that I've been following for years, that I trusted their opinion. I almost bought it, but they didn't have my shade, so I didn't buy it. And I was probably going to buy it eventually, but then I saw the regular people reviews of it, and it was like, oh no. And like, I think it tainted influencer marketing on TikTok, which is really freaking sad because TikTok is the new YouTube when it comes down to it. So yeah, I think it just messed up a lot of things. And I'm very sad that chat is over because I didn't get to talk about any drugstore brands. I had Maybelline and Revlon and L'Oreal and Wet n Wild and Elf and Milani I wanted to talk about, and I did not pace myself well. So yeah. So if there's any other brands that you want to talk about in the comments, I would love to know your thoughts on all of those brands, on any of those brands, on any of the brands that we talked about. I really thought this chat was a lot of fun. Thank you for putting in your thoughts, people that were here live. And for those of you that watch on the replay, thank you so much for chiming in the comments down below. If I didn't see your comment, like I see this one from Rodrigo, I am going to click on it. I know there are comments I didn't see that were quality. Rodrigo says, I think Kat Von D is going to end up like Becca, sadly. Not a long going for them because the Good Apple Foundation fell off already. Yeah, totally, Rodrigo. I think that that's a great way to sum it up. But I know there are gems like Rodrigo that I almost missed. So if I did miss your comment, please come back and leave it in the comment section so that I can read it once the video renders. So thank you again so much for being here, and mad love. Have a great week. Back to regular content next week. I believe, I'm not sure which video I'm going to do. I was thinking about doing a makeup I brought with me for vacation, like a classic YouTube video, and kind of talking about what makeup I brought with me and what I actually ended up using. Or I might do favorites and fails this week. I haven't decided which one I'm going to film this week. I kind of want to do, I feel like if I don't do the vacation one this week, it's going to be like, why would you talk about it 2 weeks after you get back kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like, I miss old school YouTube and videos like that. And I really am excited to just make videos that make me happy and just like videos that make you happy, like people that watch my content constantly. I'm really loving the videos I'm putting out recently and just kind of being like, you know what, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. And I am, just really happy right now with the content. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. What older videos of mine that I haven't made in a while would you like to see me bring back? Because that was really when I was loving YouTube. Pushing all these other things that I've done content wise. I'm not enjoying that kind of content as much anymore. I really want to bring it back to the basics. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, ADHD, I'm all over the place. I change my mind all the time. So yeah, I'm going to stop gabbing. You can tell I don't want to end chat because I just keep talking, but I'm going to go. Have a great week. Stay safe. Mad love to you. And I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Thanks for being here.